Welcome to Karate 360, and I'm going to channel a little Bruce Buffer here. We are live from the Canadian National Championships in Quebec City, and we want to talk all about what's happened here so far at the Nationals. And again, if you're not familiar with us, we're Karate 360, where we talk about everything in the karate world, from local to global, and everything in between. This is Karate 360, and we're going to get the show started, so here we go.
Bonjour. Karate 360, let's start the show. You will kick high and I will sweep low. From local to global, it's a thing that we love. Karate!
Sanrokumaru. Yes, we are in Quebec City.
I'm one of the hosts, Richard Mosdell.
And I'm the other host, Kalan Anglos. I was going to try and say it in French, but I don't even know how that would work.
My name is Kalan Anglos. In just a second, I'm going to talk to you right now. Eh?
Going to be a Kalan Anglos, huh?
It's funny how some people on the BC team here at the Canadian National Championships are picking up a little French slide in their delivery of their language.
Not me. I'm staying away.
You're staying away?
Staying away. I pulled a door today because it didn't actually say push
and
or pull.
ripped it off the hinges.
So yeah, my muscles are just so big. I just pulled it right off. But no, I said it in French. And then also I was looking at the doors today and I was like, why does it say sortie above the doors? I'm like, oh yeah, exit. That's right. We are in Quebec. So
Yes. The pizza was good last night. They really know how to put a pizza together.
they know how to put some food together. We had good Italian food. We had good pizza. We had good poutine. Yeah, which as you would expect, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, so the food has been great. We got a chance to walk around Quebec City a little bit in old Quebec.
And more than that, the Canadian National and Canadian National Championships here right in old Quebec. So you walk outside and there's language and different buildings. It feels like you're in a whole different city.
Totally.
A whole different country.
Whole different country. Yeah, I had, when I was flying over here, I sat next to a lady who was obviously also by herself, and she tried to talk to me in French. And I just looked at her and said, sorry, I got absolutely nothing for you.
I think it's funny when you keep saying something in English and they just keep saying French.
Yes.
Like, we're just not giving up.
Yeah.
And I'm just not giving up either.
That's right. Like I got nothing for you. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, so here we are at the Canadian National Championships.
There are 3 days. This is day 2. The beginning of the journey to the 2020 Olympics for everybody who top 4 gets an invite to the national team training camp.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Either
Top 4 from each division, and then top two, I believe, from each division are actually on the team selection, the national team selection team. So, yeah, it's a big tournament for all these athletes, and I mean, it just shows with all the intensity in there.
Well, let's talk about roles. So you are the strength and conditioning coach for the BC team and event coach.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're on the floor in the chair with the 5 other coaches.
Yep. Yeah, and it's been awesome.
There have been 6 rings. A little drama today around 5 o'clock.
A little drama, yes, as we were in the middle of some matches and everything was going on, and then boop, boom, the lights go out.
Every single light.
Power went out, and it was a blackout, and everybody started cheering. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, hey!
Yeah. And now with everyone having smartphones, there was lights everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we probably could have just kept going.
Well, really, that meant go have a nap.
Yeah, that's right. They were just trying to tell us that you guys are a little tired, so that's good. You know, at first I thought, this is going to screw up the flow. When the power went out, I thought this is going to screw up the flow of the tournament, and people who are literally in the middle of their matches and have to stop the matches, it's going to mess up. But then I thought, well, it's the exact same for everybody, so you can't really go with that.
No, everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the convention center. It was the entire city block.
Yeah.
It was out. The hotels on either side were out. The office building above it was out. Emergency lights came on, and 45 minutes later?
Wait. Hold that thought.
Holding.
I'm putting up the red flag.
Red flag.
Red card, I should say.
Yes, red card.
A video review, please.
A video review? What would you like to review?
Well, that was one of the things that came up today.
Yes.
In the national championships, the video review took forever.
So let's go over what the heck is a video review for our young listeners.
That's very good. So video review now has been implemented, I think, for about a year, maybe a little more than a year, where each coach gets the card. You put up the card if you think your athlete scored a point, and the panel behind at the judges table can then go back and look at the video and see if your athlete really did score a point or not.
Are you telling me there are digital cameras on the side of the ring?
There is a digital camera set up, 2 of them at these national championships, set up at either side of the ring.
Is this the same digital camera that does the streaming on the internet, which people watch?
No.
No.
No, it's not.
So we've got 3 cameras, of which 2 are accessed only by the officials.
That's correct.
Okay, so the coach sees something he thinks his athlete scored.
Or she.
Thank you very much. I'm all about gender equality. And puts up their hand. Do they have to stop the match immediately upon the coach raising their arm?
They do, yes.
Okay.
You're asking me as if you don't know.
Oh,
but
well.
you do know. I know you know.
Oh, Kylan. I'm doing this for Henry at home. Hello, Henry.
Okay, well, there you go.
And, all right. So then they look at the video. Tell me what happens next.
Well, then they decide if it was a score or not. There's the panel. I believe it's of 3 video review judges, and they decide whether they think that your athlete actually did score the point or not, at which point they will either raise a red card that says no or a green card that says yes. And if you get yes and you win your review, you get your review card back. However, if you get the no, then you don't get it back for that athlete until the medal round.
Wow.
So I like it because it gives the coaches a little bit more tactic. There's more coach tactics now involved in a kumite match where they have to kind of think, okay, should I play my card now? Should I video review this here? Should I save it? Because if I lose, then you lose the card for, possibly forever.
Possibly. Never gets it back in another tournament.
Ever. They keep track of it.
You travel with the card from tournament to tournament.
That's right. Until you lose it.
Yes.
Now, the only thing, though, is so far at this national championships, the video review has slowed the action down big time. I'm a big fan of the video review. Don't get me wrong.
Let's go over the best. Let's go over textbook tactics, and then we'll talk about why it's slow.
Okay.
Textbook tactic number 1.
Well, athlete.
I'm like nodding to Kalan
yes.
to answer.
Well, again, you know. Why are you asking me?
Henry, listen close.
Yes. So again, your athlete, we'll call them athlete A. Athlete A.
He's a handsome A.
Well, he's all right. Scores a Jodan. You believe scores a Jodan kick to the face. They're down by 2 points.
Kick to the head.
Kick to the head. They for 3 points.
Yep.
And only one judge puts up the flag. So there's only one. You don't technically get the point. So you raise because you need to. So you raise your flag, your card in protest, saying that I think my athlete scored that head kick and should have 3 points. The referee then calls the MA. They take your card. They review. Now, in terms of the actual tactics, the textbook tactics in that, one of the things is how much time is left. What is the score already of the match? I mean, if your athlete's already up 5-0, do you really need to protest if there's only 30 seconds left in a match and it looks like they're going to win the match anyway? You don't want to take the risk of losing the card, right?
Yes.
Using the review card. So just tactics like that, just textbook stuff like that. But like I said, I think we need the video review. I think it's great and it's kind of going in the right direction, but they need to clean it up a little bit.
Yes. Well, in terms of tactics, maybe the textbook one is it's a game changer if it's going to get you, like in the head kick example, you're behind by 2 points. But if you can get that head kick point in, you're ahead by 1.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a game changing tactic.
Yes.
And later in the show, we have a guest coach who's going to explain how he successfully used it all the way to a silver medal. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce our returning guest, second time on the show, Rodney Hobson.
Second time in a row.
From the Rodney Hobson Karate Academy. Rodney, you take it from here.
Yeah, video review was awesome for our athletes. We had, in one particular instance, our co-host on Next Gen Karate. Lauren Reed, little Lauren Reed, she's 12 years old.
Yay.
She did outstanding. So this was her very first nationals. And she was in the ring, and at one point in one of the most memorable matches of the entire nationals for me and a lot of other people,
Absolutely.
she was down 8-1. And for those who don't know, you
Dear
lose the
God.
match if you're losing by 8 points. So one more point by her opponent, and it was go home. And she got another point, so it's 8-2, and then she came back, and I think it was 8-3 at that point. About 10 seconds left, and whoosh, foot comes up to the head.
Sounded just like that, folks. Just like that.
It did, and it really saved me because one judge scored 3 points for Lauren. The other judge made an error and put the 3 points for the other athlete, who did nothing. So without that video review, that point would have been gone. So up I get, you stand up, you put your hand in the air with the card, the ref comes over, and she got it. So at that point, she was down by 2. And she ended up winning the match 9-8. So, yeah, it saved her.
Yeah. So video, by having the video review, really helped her out.
Lauren had 3 fights. Lost her first fight. She was really shaky. It was her first nationals, so it's completely understandable. And then over the course of her 3 fights, I used video review 5 or 6 times. Was only unsuccessful one. The time that I was unsuccessful, I knew I'd be unsuccessful, but you have to give it all you got because she was down by 2 points, and the time ran out, and she threw a body kick right at the end, which would have tied it, and she would have won because she had sent you. So you just stand up and cross your fingers and see what happens at that point. But so she didn't get it, but yeah, 5 or 6 times, she earned points that she wouldn't have got had there not been video review.
Silver
Medal.
You know, that's probably the best result. Had she got gold at her first nationals, it'd be insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, silver gives her something to hope for, something to work for. You know, it's not like nothing. Yeah, it's amazing.
She's really proud. Initially, it didn't sink in right away. She's a champion her whole life so far. So, getting that result, I mean, I expected her to do really good, and she finished top 2, which is great. She was able to refocus right away, and I was impressed with her.
And I think one of the things that people need to realize too about Lauren is she's probably the smallest person in that division by quite a bit. Yeah. Like she's a quite tiny girl, but not in heart for sure. Like she showed some amazing heart in that fight, and yeah, some great coaching tactics by you, Ronnie. It was incredible, and like you said, one of the best moments of the national championships. At least now that we're 2 days in of the past 2 days, it was amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, when people see her on our show, and then they see her in real life, every single person can't believe how small she actually is. But she's been with me for like 5 years, and she's an outstanding person, outstanding athlete, and comes from a great family as well.
What is it like to be the club coach in the chair at nationals?
It's great. It was really cool this year because BC, instead of bringing its typical BC team coaching staff, which does a great job, they expanded the program and now offered it to club coaches. So we had club coaches from all over BC come and have the ability to coach their athletes, which no other province had decided to take up on it. So it was great talking to the other club coaches out there. Everybody really enjoyed it. They got to support their athletes. And most importantly, their athletes felt really comfortable having their instructor in the chair. So it made all the difference in the world.
Amazing. And video review, tell me if you did not see this more than one time. I'm the center referee. Oh, I'm going to do stream of consciousness from the center referee. Oh, the coach has put up their card. All right. Saunter, 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 saunter. Thank you very much for your card. Turn around. Saunter, 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 saunter. Here you go. And then 2 minutes. And listen, I'm an official. Those people are here and not paid, and I really appreciate how serious and how much they take. But that's 2-3 minutes for the video review. So I understand they're really doing their best.
Yeah, and one thing that I don't particularly like about how it's gone so far is it really but it slows the pace of the fight down for sure. Like if a fighter's really in the groove and really going, and then all of a sudden a video review comes up, and that could be coaches' tactics as well, but you know, a minute passes, 2 minute passes, and now both athletes are practically fresh. Actually, at one point, I used my video review card, and afterwards I thought, darn, I shouldn't have used it because the other athlete was quite tired. Like the opponent of my athlete was very tired, and I thought I'm just giving them extra time to recover. And I knew that the video review was taking so long, so I thought, oh man, I shouldn't have used it. But then we got the point anyway, so it kind of turned out.
Yeah, I talked to other coaches too who used it in the opposite situation. Their athlete was gassed, and there's 10 seconds left. They got to go, so they throw up and stand up the video review just to give them that break.
You know, like hockey, where they have like one last 2 minute. I don't watch hockey, sorry.
I was going to say that does not happen in hockey.
Is there some sport where you can have like a final team break for 2 minutes and that gives everybody a...
Are you thinking of overtime? I don't know.
Anyway, back to the show. Back to the show.
This is called Hockey 360.
Richard only knows Karate 360. You can get more of that on the Richard Mosdell show coming on later on tonight. Tune in. Video review. Second guessing of the judges. If the judges are doing a really good job and it's hard, they will see more. They will catch more.
I think we talked about it a little earlier, and my thought is we'll see over time, I guess. But as a referee, without video review, you understand that your calls decide everything, that you have to be on point and precise and completely concentrated on that match the entire time. With video review, one could argue that it's a safety net. They can sit in the chair and go, well, of course I'm trying. Of course I'm going to try to get everything I can. But if I don't, if I make a mistake, hey, I'm covered. So I think it might relieve a little bit of the pressure in a negative
So I can go back
way.
to me and I?
No, gosh, no.
Me and I, Henry, means I just cross my arms and say, I don't see it. Take my vote, and you guys decide.
Yeah, no more of that. That was
ridiculous.
awful.
Yes. Video review.
So this
Should we put
new-
cameras on opposite sides of the mat?
in this tournament?
Opposite angles.
Yeah, in this tournament, there's two sitting in the top corners of the mat, about maybe a meter and a half in from the edge of the mat. In other tournaments, you get all four. So you get four corners, four angles.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a lot better because sometimes it's inconclusive.
Totally.
Right? You know about this, Richard, Hockey, inconclusive video review goals. Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier too. That was something that happened again to one of my athletes as well on two separate occasions, scoring a Chudan kick, and I thought, yep, perfect. One referee gave it to him, put up my review. I thought, there's no way, this has got to be one. And they said, sorry, can't see it. Our cameras that we have set up just can't see it. We can't give them the point. Now, at that time, they do give you the card back because they don't take it away. But that happened twice to the same athlete, where that they just couldn't see the point. And yeah, it was really unfortunate.
You know, this is it. This is where they gave you the card back. Would a club coach know that they hadn't gone to nationals over and over? They have to be able to know, because it's still, even if you put 4 cameras, you could have the center ref and the 2 athletes all at a bad angle until you put 8 drones floating above the match.
Yes.
And don't get me started. I can figure that out, guys. I can figure that out.
Yeah. And that was one of the things, like, we only had the 2 cameras on there. So as a coach sitting on the side, I would try and see or try and make sure that my athlete, when I do the video review, that the cameras are in the right position. And if it wasn't, then I would just hold back on it. So again, it's just kind of sort of tactics of a coach, but 8 drones would definitely be better. But talking with some of the other athletes who have been to the Pan American Championships or the World Championships or that kind of thing, they said what they often do there with the video review is they have the video that the panel is looking at, they have it on a separate screen where the whole entire crowd can see it, so all the viewers can see. So it puts a little bit of pressure on the people that are actually on the desk looking at it to not only get it correct, but to get it fast, because it's right there, we can see it, so you better let us know. So I don't know if that's exactly the way to go. It's a little bit more expensive, obviously, but it's I think helpful.
Yeah, this video review system is brand new. This is the first time it's being used in Canada. We used a previous system before, Dartfish, but this is
Right.
Sport Data's very own video review system. So,
Yes.
I poked my head in around the back and looked at what it looked like a few times, and it's pretty interesting. But obviously there's always room to improve.
Sure.
And camera angles are very important. At the Pan Am Games, they had them quite a bit higher, so it's like a spectator, like a drone view down. So it was really nice and clear. But I don't know. I overall, sure, it adds time. It adds maybe wasted time as well by coaches, but in the end, I think it's a very valuable system to have.
Absolutely. I think it is absolutely very valuable, and I also think that it's just in its beginner stages. Like, we've just implemented this for the past year and a half, and just like karate is going to grow, this is also going to grow. So the video review is just going to keep getting better. It's going to become more efficient, and yeah, it's just gonna improve.
This one's mic'd for my voice because I yell. Craig said at the last Worlds they only used it in the finals. For simply the same reason. It adds we're at 1.5 hours behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, yesterday we were there till what, 9 o'clock at night? Like, we were scheduled to end, I think, at 5:30, maybe something like that. But and the power didn't go out yesterday, so it was completely, we went completely through, and yeah, we were there I think till like 9:30. Like, so the video review was just too long at this point, at least.
Well, let's get into some things about the tournament. Give me something. Let's go through some top highlights in our brain, other than the fact that BC won all the medals. Sorry, that was just a joke with room service. But let's go through some top highlights. Can you think of stuff?
For me, the performances out there were outstanding. Maybe some, as far as Canada-wide highlights, is Kenneth Lee. Kenneth Lee won the gold medal in men's kata.
Yes.
He's been trying to achieve that result for many years. And Toshu Chiagi, which is an outstanding Canadian competitor, forever.
Yeah.
Everybody in this generation knows Toshi.
For sure. Most decorated Canadian athlete.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal athlete. Took the silver with great performances as well. But that was a highlight for me, seeing that division. BC swept the podium, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. If for myself, I mean, being a coach, obviously one of my top, one of the best things that happened for me was watching my athletes, not only do well, but actually win directly because of the things that I've done. And that kind of sounds, maybe a little egotistical, but I mean, there was definitely some things where you could say, I want you to punch to the head right now, boom, go. And they would punch to the head, they would get the point. And especially with the video review, there was the craziest match that I've ever coached, I think probably had 9 video reviews in total between me and the other athlete.
Yeah, I remember that match.
Absolutely crazy. Like, just one after the other, boom, boom, boom. And we both kept getting it right. There was one point in time where we both were challenging at the same time, and then finally he lost his. So I said, yes, there we go, this is just mine now.
And that was ended up being like a 20-minute match,
and that was a long match, and I think the score was like 10-9 or 10-8, but it was for the bronze medal. It was for the silver medal, and so my athlete wound up winning, and it was based off a lot of the challenges that I did and a lot of the ones that we got correct. So that was a big highlight for me, just helping the athletes get through. And another highlight too is, for me, this is my
Just a sec before you go on. If there's ever video review request of kata, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Then we'd still be here from yesterday. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I was just going to say another highlight for me, and again, this is kind of maybe a selfish one, but for me, it's my first national championships here as a coach. I went to many as an athlete, but this is my first one as a coach, and just getting the chance to coach against other great coaches has been really great too. Just being able, when I was young, one of my favorite athletes in Canada and in the world was Saeed Begbani, who I know you know very well, Richard, and I got the chance to coach against one of his athletes and to have him and our athlete wound up winning, and for have him come up and say great job, like good, like that really meant a lot to me too. And just seeing all like the national team coaches now in their provinces and just coaching against a bunch of other great coaches and just being surrounded by high performance coaches was a big highlight for me as well.
Yeah, I really like how in karate the sportsmanship shown between both coaches is outstanding. Like every single match, how many matches are there? Every single match of that competition, coaches get up, turn to the other coach, give a handshake, give a bow, say congratulations, smiles on everybody's faces.
Government sport people are here watching us. They noticed.
But it's not because of that, you know.
It's not because of it at all, because nobody knew that they were watching us.
Yeah, I think it's great. The athletes out there, obviously the coaches are trying their absolute hardest to give the best advice for their athletes to win. Athletes are trying as hard as they possibly can to win, and it gets a little heated in there. But at the end of the day, coaches get up. Coaches always congratulate, and it's tremendous to see.
So, Richard, what was your highlights? I know you were in the bleachers taking it all in, helping out a little bit and quite a bit actually as we went on. But what was the highlights for you as you were taking it all in and taking your notes and everything?
Do you really want me to say it?
Yes. I didn't ask you for you not to say. Oh, he's thinking. He's going deep into the memory bank for this one.
I almost got to like hip-hop jam it out.
Okay, well, for sure don't do that.
I got the talents. You just don't know it.
Oh,
I'm bringing it to the table. I'm going to show it.
No, we know. Oh, no.
107 athletes.
Yeah.
Club coaches in the chair. More athletes flying in the air to come to Quebec City than are in BC, where they had a 30-minute to a 3-hour drive. Kalan's name on the PowerPoint presentation by Karate Canada's High Performance Committee of the fitness test he worked his ass off to figure out, with University of Victoria adopted by Karate Canada and to be proposed to all karate athletes across the country. The fact that, and we'll get into the government presentation later, but the fact that stuff that was in that presentation is stuff we are doing in our club and in our province. The professionalism of the officials. The fact people were there on their own expense and their own dime. The fact people really cared about what we are doing as a sport and as a country. The lack of animosity, the lack of yelling and shouting, the lack of even in an amazingly hard and emotional match. I actually in this Nationals did not see two athletes get angry at each other.
No, that's a really good point.
You know, the fact that we had BC athletes in every division, right?
Yep.
Almost every division?
I think every division. I think we had BC athletes in every division. If not 99% of them. Yeah.
I love the fact you meet people you only see once a year to check in with them and to pat them on the back and to ask them how their programs are going, and that they are actually still, they're not just carriers of the disease, they are full blown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like the fact that it's the 42nd year. I like the fact that this leads to somewhere. This ripples. This is like a massive drop in a huge puddle, and the ripples are going to be felt. And it's the Olympics, maybe no Canadians will ever make it to 2020. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we're sure not going down without a fight.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that way, you know? I like the fact that I got to see Kalan in the chair coaching and athletes engage with him. I like the fact that when the competition is on, all, like, not just the BC coaches were great, but all the coaches were, that we could see were there.
For sure.
Just like all that stuff, man. That's like oxygen I breathe that allows me to think about where I want to take my life and where I want to do stuff. And it validates how I hope things will keep going. And I also feel really like if I was hit by a bus today, none of that will stop, and it doesn't matter. You know, I just got to be part of it. And I can't wait to see what opportunities come out of it. I love the little side talks with the athletes where I thought, well, okay, I'm not their direct coach, I'm the high performance director, but maybe the high performance director coming over and just being a human being beside an athlete will actually help out.
Sure.
I think I had several of those conversations. Some of them maybe it didn't go well because they just were too much in their moment or they didn't know me, but some of them came over and hugged me after their matches.
Yeah.
I don't want the validation of it was my words, because there's lots of words that they were probably receiving. But, if I could help somebody 4% closer to their goal, or tell them after the match how much I really enjoyed to see them compete,
It's worth it.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
And if they don't quit and come back next year because for all the right reasons, that was just awesome.
Yeah.
That's just part one. Do you want part two?
I think we asked for one thing and we got a whole list of things.
I warned you.
Yeah.
Well, we proved earlier today that he's not too great at counting, but
Yeah, that's very true. Another inside joke with the room service there. Yeah, so those are just some highlights of the Canadian National Championships that have come up here in the first couple of days.
well, I was just going to say, just for something to talk about, what did you guys think about the impact of Senchu? This is the first national championships with Senchu.
Yes.
To me, I saw it used very strategically by a lot of different fighters, but what did you guys see?
Yeah. First of all, on the official standpoint, I thought the officials were on it. I thought they were very good. I mean, a couple times they forgot to do it, and then there would just be somebody at the desk say, did you forget something? And then they'd be, oh, yeah, sent you. But no, I thought the officials were on it.
And really, the computer system should just click it in, because I think that's a waste of 10 seconds.
Totally. Yeah. It should
It's
just.
hard. What do you think, Rodney? Like,
The way the system is designed, it can't, because it's the first unopposed point gets sent you.
Right.
So the referee gives it to blue. Say blue scores at the same time as red. The referee goes, you go, boom. It would automatically give sent you, but that's not an unopposed point. So it
Right.
has to be a separate click, and the person at the table shouldn't be responsible to click stuff on their own.
Sure.
They only click stuff on the referee's actions.
wait a minute. Unopposed point means the other side also didn't score in the same exchange for Yame, right?
Yes.
So if I was just to push blue and not push red, and they say Hajime, and I hit the stopwatch again.
Yeah, but to Rodney's point, if two athletes did score a point even in the same EMA, you have to put either a red or a blue first, right? You don't put both up at the same time on the system. So you'd have
but
to
the
give.
clock is stopped. So when the clock is stopped,
Yeah.
you can put anything you want in there.
Right.
So if the clock, maybe it's just software programming, or,
Yeah, it's just
right? It's just software programming.
Yes.
basically. Okay. Because really,
I'm sure we'll get there.
really, if I push that and the clock goes, it clicks, but it won't know. The computer system won't know that it sent you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but to Rodney's question, what I thought about the Senchu in terms of the actual athletes and the actual competition as well, you definitely saw athletes more hungry for that first point. And it was something that I directly told some of my athletes, like, we want to make sure we go out and get Senchu against this person because it's probably going to be a close match. So they were definitely more hungry for that first point. And then, of course, it also puts the pressure on the other athlete, maybe if they don't have Senchu, that now they have to come back and not only get 1 point to tie, but they might have to get 2 points to win or 3 or whatever. So I definitely thought it increased the intensity a little bit for sure in the first little bit of a match, and as well at the end as well when the athlete has to come back and get it.
Yeah, the end is the biggest impact of Senchu that I found. Like I thought the same, where I thought it would change the game in the first minute of that fight. I didn't see that too much, but in the last minute, holy cow, does Senchu have an impact. I found that if the person was an offensive fighter, that they would go even harder. But if you're a defensive fighter, it didn't affect things. And in the matches that there were two strong defensive fighters, it still was the same thing like it's always been. It's delay, and then another 20 seconds, delay, all the way up to Hansel Kachui, and then the match sort of started. So if you're fighting two defensive fighters, I don't think it had an impact, as of these nationals anyway, but those offensive fighters sure went after it for sure.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier that the strategy of what they're thinking about to get it, the Senchu beforehand, like if you were just going to be one of those defense fighters to like work the person all the way to the end of the match and then score points, it's dangerous to do that. And if you get Senchu with a Sambong, right, or an Ippon, like,
It's essentially 4 points.
it's essentially 4 points, which is fantastic, One thing I was thinking is I would see people run out and get Senchu and get the point and then never use up that technique again.
Yes, yeah, I saw
like,
that a bunch too.
Like, there was one match where she came out good at Ashton, right? Was it? beautiful kick right off, like first second, 2 points. And then sunk back into a defensive mode. Really, she could have just kept that. If you're going to score with something, you can probably score with it again.
Yeah.
It's really true. You must keep your scoring abilities going.
Yeah, and that's the difference between fighting to win and fighting not to lose.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And we have a couple athletes who do the exact same thing. And the last couple tournaments that they went through the provincials and team selection is the same thing. They would go against a higher skilled fighter, let's say, and they would come out of the gates, boom, 1 point, 2 point, and they are like riding high, and then they change their entire mentality.
Yes.
And now they're this super defensive, reluctant fighter. I'm going, what are you doing? Like, you have the guy on the ropes. You have him where you want him.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
Just
keep
go.
rolling the momentum,
Yes,
right? But
yeah.
no, they change into it in a defensive aspect, and ends up not looking too well for them most of the time.
No, for sure. And that is something that happened as well. But I think overall, it definitely changed the tactics as an athlete for sure. The athletes were just fighting a little bit harder, I think, to get the point. And yeah, I thought it was good.
12-13s.
Yeah, who didn't
What
use
the
the senshi.
heck did that happen there?
Why did they not use the senshi on those guys?
Well, they haven't approved it yet at the WKF level.
Well, okay.
But regardless, who taught them kumite tactics?
Yeah.
And I want to learn some of that stuff.
No kidding. The 12, 13-year-olds, not only in
They're
kumite,
doing stuff better than I can do as an adult.
not even in kumite and kata as well. Like, you look at these guys, and we've talked about this before, I'm sure, on the show, but you look at them, it's like, wow, these guys are doing super hempe or anan, or they're just, and it's good. Like, they're sharp, and it's like, wow, like, I was doing pinanidan when I was 12,
Exactly.
13. Like,
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy. And yeah, same thing with the kumite. And I think that's just a testament to the growth of karate and more people putting more
awareness of
more
the
effort.
coaches,
For sure.
of club coaches
Yeah.
to know how to, and incorporate games and incorporate all kinds of stuff. Because wow,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it in Japan because the kids would wear helmets, or they wear helmets in Japan at 18, and some of the 6 or the 8, 10-year-olds, they'll bob like boxers,
Yeah.
even with helmets on.
Yeah.
Because they start figuring out the tactics and the speed. But that was just fantastic to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just wrap up this talk a little bit here about the national championships right now. Last thing that we'll ask Rodney here, and then we'll let him get back to his hard work here as the team manager. I'm going to ask you too, Richard, this. Not so much what was your favorite fight. You can either pick your favorite fight or your favorite fighter that you saw this weekend at the national championships. Richardo?
My favorite fighter?
Or your favorite fight that you saw?
My favorite fight. I liked the heavyweight guy. Was he from Quebec with the shaved head? Who's that?
Ontario, Daniel
Ontario.
Gazinski.
Yeah, Daniel. I thought he was great. He was really loose. He was really passionate, and he was over the top.
Yeah.
I liked how he was fighting and exploding, and he had
Totally.
lots of different talents. And there was nothing he couldn't handle.
No, and he's been on fire. I think he got a top 10 finish at the Paris Open for sure, I think. And even at the Worlds, I think he did quite well as well. So he's just been growing. And yeah, he was absolutely on fire. I think he won gold, and it was quite handedly. So.
Yeah. So, no, I enjoyed it a lot, but I really enjoyed watching him fight, because when you see someone with confidence like that, and maybe Katie Campbell, Kate Campbell, she was just on fire as well.
Yeah.
I love that, like the 5% more explosive energy. I love seeing someone just be able to tap it and unlock it.
Yeah, you see that definitely in those elite fighters. For me, a favorite fighter would have to be Seiya.
Yes, Seiya
Like,
had some good matches.
He just has a different mentality than any other fighter.
Yes.
Like I can't put my tongue on it, but the closest I can get is like a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Like the look in his eyes, his body movement, his mechanics. It's just completely. It's a different style, a different realm than any of the fighters, and it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
He goes after it.
For sure. From BC. And my favorite, I'll do one of each. My favorite fighter of the weekend was somebody that we've also talked about on this podcast, Ryan O'Neill from Nova Scotia. Pardon me, from Nova Scotia. I watched his fight. He's in the minus 75 kilograms, I believe, seniors, and he won. Same thing, gold, and he was just a step above all the people. He's a Taekwondo athlete as well, and you can tell his kicks were just absolutely on point. A couple times he was down by 3-4 points. Maybe the other athlete had sent you. He didn't care. He came back, boom, head kick, boom, head, and just perfect. Like, you knew it was coming, but you couldn't stop it. It was unbelievable. He was really, really good. So he was probably my favorite fighter of the weekend. And again, he was somebody that was on fire. My favorite fight of the weekend, I'm going back to a BC athlete, my boy Brendan Lee. The last fight of the tournament for today, the second day, where he won by 1 point. It was for the silver medal, actually, in the men's heavyweight, the men's heavyweight plus 84 kilograms division. And I just know, maybe I'm probably being biased because I like Brendan. I know he's been training hard, trying to get that top 2 finish to get onto the national team. But for the silver medal, you know, he was down 4-3 with 3 or 2 seconds left, and he just scored a really nice Kazamizuki, 2 in a row, actually.
After 10 punches, trying to get it.
Totally, and he hunted it down, and he got that point, and it was just like, after that, obviously, he was emotional, and he just let everything out, and it was awesome. All BC was there chanting and cheering him on, so that was probably a great way to finish the second day of the national championships, and probably my favorite fight so far.
That's awesome. That was good. I think my favorite fight was watching Warren fight Philippe.
Yeah, totally.
And then, because Warren thought about it, and we talked about it beforehand. I know he talked with his coach Jason about it, and just to use the standard tactic of don't actually try and fight to the last 30 seconds.
Yes.
And frustrate the other person. And Philippe, I guess, was frustrated because he lost his first round, and he was coming in. And Warren did exactly that. He frustrated Philippe right to Hansel Kochui on category 2s for grabbing and locking and grabbing and locking.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that was the thing. You know, you want to win 8-0. Of course, we all want to win 8-0. And the crowd goes wild, and the other person walks over and goes, "That was just the best match I've ever had. Please keep beating." But you take your wins.
Yes.
You take your wins when you can. And he worked. Frustrate the person till the very end, see who cracks first. And that's what happened.
For sure.
You know, that was, that actually, that was interesting.
Yeah, so there it is. That's our favorite fight and fighters from the past 2 days of the national championship. So I think that probably wraps up our talk here for so far the national championship, the actual competition itself. So yeah, there it is. Just have one more day to go, and then maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more about the overall tournament in general. But what we wanted to talk about, and Rodney, thank you very much for joining us as well and giving us your thoughts on all that. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, anytime, no problem. I always enjoy talking to you guys. So yeah, good luck.
All right, so what we wanted to talk about now is something that...
Poutine.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, so what we want to talk about now is we being you and I, Richard, and Rodney was actually in there as well, and most of the provincial coaches as well, especially the ones on the high performance committees, were at a meeting with the High Performance Committee of Canada.
Yep, the High Performance Committee meeting was interesting because they had not only the executive director and president, but they also had the High Performance Committee chair, who, Peter Davis, he is a high performance specialist who advises, I think he said he's advised up to 100 sport organizations now. Yeah. So he's not a karate person. And then they brought in from the Canadian government sport world, Own the Podium. Now, Own the Podium is a program like a lot of countries have, where they're unapologetically honest about looking at the results in an amateur sport of where they're at on the world level. And if there's any chance those athletes will continue to win world medals, especially at the Olympics, they will fund them.
Yes, yeah.
And, if you are in, beach volleyball and you've been getting an X number of dollars a year and you're unable to perform, or you're so able to get medals at the Worlds, but another sport is just, there's 2 athletes in boxing that are just taking off, then they'll take their money away from beach volleyball and invest it into boxing to just see how much farther they can take that program. Yeah. Now, this is really at the ultimate level. You could still be getting general government money to help run your national sport organization. This is the top up so that people get on the podium. That's why it's called Own the Podium.
Yeah, this is what every sport organization kind of shoots for, is own the podium money. They really back the athletes and the sports as well. And we had a presentation from one of the Own the Podium, the karate, somebody that karate went to Own the Podium.
High performance advisor to karate, judo, and boxing.
Yes, Chris, and I apologize, I forget his last
Chris
name.
Lindsay.
Chris Lindsay, yeah, and he was great. He gave a 15-20 minute presentation on where karate's at in terms of their bid to get some Own the Podium money in Canada, not only where they're at but also what they need to do and what sports in general need to do to kind of get some Own the Podium funding.
Yeah, they're looking at evidence, right?
Yes.
So
that was his big thing. He wants everything to be evidence-based.
that's right. And that's what's the great thing about you putting the fitness test together, is that we can get some evidence on where everybody's at.
Yes. And the tests were evidence-based to begin with.
Exactly. And I think, basically, he's saying the chances of any extra money coming is low.
Yes.
Because Canadian athletes are not consistently winning medals at the international level. But this is our chance. The junior worlds this year and the senior worlds next year.
Yes, and he did say it was a optimistic low. He did say so. We're considered low right now, but we being karate in general and karate in Canada, doing all the right things. We're moving in the right direction to get Own the Podium funding
For sure. So, some of the top 10 points he said are, let's not shoot to be best in Canada. Let's shoot to be best in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
It's awesome when you're best in Canada, but the gap between Canada and continental is big.
For sure.
And I think it's the same thing on the traditional classical side of karate. The gap is big. The other one is to have more clubs, the local level, that are more public, that are really want to be part of the PSO, the part of your state, part of your province, part of that system, instead of a private club that doesn't. And then you want to centralize. You want to get all the right athletes together.
For sure.
In the right place, all the top athletes training together.
Yeah, and one of the things that he said that I believe wrestling does, and other combat sports as well, is they'll actually take their athletes from one province and they'll put them all in the same province, just so they can all train together and get all that high performance stuff, which I think is great. But that's one thing that I didn't think was completely necessary. I think if you can build a high performance atmosphere within your individual provinces, you can still make it to the world level for sure. I mean, it happens all the time. But yeah, really getting a centralized high performance group together is certainly important.
Well, in boxing in Canada, he said Montreal is a center of boxing. And because it's center, you can get a different sparring partner in every weight category every night.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Which is huge.
I think you can be a club eventually that has a program that can produce international medaling people, but you really need to have some depth in that club, and you need an instructor who is able to connect with the members. The thing that I've been thinking about this weekend is a club instructor can have, a massive academic learning, a massive experience learning in the ring themselves, outside the ring. They can have a massive amount of talent to deal with your sport umbrella organizations, your style organizations. You can be great with parents. You actually know how to make some money to keep the club going. And you have a good interpersonal way of dealing with an athlete. All that concentrated into the head of a pin for the moment by moment. It's like little pieces of the right flavor of chocolate that's been given at the right moment to move that athlete along. You can't hit them with the full bar of chocolate. Yeah. You can't eat a full bar of chocolate right now.
Whoa, don't you say. Don't challenge me.
All right, well, let's go there. But then you won't be well after, right?
That's very true.
So I think, that's that tactile human ability to have it all possessed. Like Reza Sensei used to say, a good coach is like a carpenter, and they have a huge belt of tools that are sharp and proper, and they can use them all at the right moment.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a very And yeah, it's interesting.
One of the things he said too, that this being Chris, the OTP on the podium advisor, that we need to be able to take athletes and put them through the system, put them through that funnel and get them up to that level. And if that means you have to help them grow and send them somewhere else to do that, you have to be able to do that, especially if they want to compete at the world level. I can't remember the quote exactly that he said, but keep the oven hot or something like that. Or
Hot house. Yeah. Keep the oven hot, keep the funnel full.
Yeah, and just keep sending athletes where they need to go. So that's something that, I think karate does a good job of anyway, but often you see sometimes, coaches or sensei, sometimes they really want to hold on to that's my athlete. Own them.
Those are my children. How dare you?
Yes.
How dare you talk to them?
Yes, where, oftentimes another opinion is not always best, but it is definitely a different opinion, and it gets you going in a different direction sometimes. And you have to just hand those athletes off and be able to send them to another coach that might do better.
Yeah. It's got to come from the DNA of day one.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is if you let them go, they'll come back.
For sure. Absolutely.
If you blanketly say you may not leave, then you're not getting them back.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna feel that you've been disowned or. Now the balance is, can you run a club and have a high performance program and make money? Because a lot of people call it a hobby right now.
Right.
It has to be a program. In Japan, the really, really top clubs, well, basically they're all high performance specialist coaches.
Yeah, so that was just the on the podium presentation that we had from Chris. So that was really good, and we'll have notes available for that. You're gonna be, I think Karate BC is they gonna be posting some of that stuff. I can't remember.
I actually talked to them. They are going to officially figure out what they're going to post online for us to share with everybody else. But I have made some notes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Which have been sent around to karate leaders of certain types.
Perfect.
But the official thing will come out. But just remember that we need to be serious about what we're doing.
For sure.
At the club level, we're a family. We're having fun. We're doing all kinds of stuff. But at the high performance level, at the state, the provincial level, it's serious business. And if you're not going to be serious, get out of the way. Someone else has got to come and take it on.
Absolutely. Yeah, so there it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this is, I don't even know what episode we're at anymore, but this is our Canadian National Championships.
We'll write it down,
recap.
don't worry.
Yeah. This is our recap episode, 2 days into the Canadian National Championships. We still have 1 day tomorrow. The Team Kumite happens tomorrow. That's always my favorite.
And we are ahead of the medal count, I think, from last year.
I think so. We are already doing better now than we did all of last year, so that's good for British Columbia. So yeah, tune in next week. We'll have more information on that. Don't forget to keep an eye on all our social media. Karate.
Wait, we got to talk about the Canada Open Flyers.
Oh, the Canada Open Flyers.
We handed out Canada Open Flyers.
Oh, yes, we did. We handed out Canada Open Flyers to everybody that was leaving the venue.
Yes.
Everybody is super excited.
Let's go through the reactions.
Okay, you go.
I can't believe there's a Canada Open. I can't believe I'm going to go. I'm going to stick this on my bedroom wall and look at it every single night. Give me 10.
All right, I'm going to do my best Quebecois impersonation here. What do you want to do with this? That's not French, but I'm going to go with it. In British Columbia, we came to British Columbia 4 years in a row, and you want us to come back?
And that was the nice rejection.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yes.
That was, how many times did they actually push our hand away or knock us? Or,
yeah.
Don't worry, they want to come.
They want to come. And then also some of the kids, hey, did you guys see this? Running after other people.
This?
Yeah.
I liked it when after the medal ceremony and people were coming up with their medals. I was like, that's a really nice medal. Like, thank you very much. Want to win another one?
Yeah.
Have a flyer.
Set him up totally. Yeah.
Like, oh, I guess I have to take it because he's so nice to me.
Yeah. So the next big tournament in Canada will be the Canada Open Karate Championships, June 3rd, 4th at the Richmond Olympic Oval. Registration starts March 1st at karatebc.org.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Online, all kinds of divisions. And I was looking at Airbnb.
Yeah.
And there were some rooms you could stay at in the vicinity for like $40, $50, $60. Of course, please stay at the official host hotel at the Sheraton, only 10 minutes from the airport. But if the Sheraton is packed and you can't get in there because there are no more rooms, I saw that Airbnb had like $40, $50, $60 rooms.
Sweet. No, that's awesome. So there it is. Book it in there and we'll make it happen. So that's the Canada Open coming up later this year. All right. Well,
Karate 360 Nation, thanks for tuning in. It has been fantastic to have you. Fantastic to give some fist bumps to people who actually listen to us out there.
Absolutely. And don't forget to follow us, as I was saying, on our social media stuff, karate360podcast.com, Karate360 on all the social media stuff. New episodes come out every Monday morning. You'll be able to get this Monday morning. You'll be listening to it Monday morning. And keep an eye on what we're doing, because we're going to have some more Facebook Live videos come up, Facebook Live podcasts. Once we get back to the Karate 360 studio, we'll be firing those out too. So keep an eye on us, guys. Lots of new stuff coming, and we appreciate you listening and sending us all your good questions and comments. All right, I'm Kalan Anglos.
I'm Richard Mosdell.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Sanrokumaru.